Buying land can be a very expensive endeavor. Land costs a lot of money, but people do it to buy a house or build a business. However, we're going to be talking about land in the realm of NFT and the Metaverse. That's right, NFT is usually associated with items, cosmetics, and anything else along that line, but land is probably the biggest and most expensive NFT you can buy. Not all NFT games have land, so the ones that do put a price on it. That being said, this is the Game Mag's guide on what you need to know about land when it comes to NFT, as well as how you can buy NFT land in the Metaverse. Number 1. What is NFT Land? Before we get to how you can buy land in the Metaverse, you need to know what it is all about. The land you buy in NFT games is an NFT itself. Instead of being an item, the land itself is the NFT. When you buy one, the rights of the land will be placed on the blockchain under your name. To simplify things, it is something that you own and use depending on how the game allows you to use it. The land can vary in terms of location and size. Naturally, the bigger the land, the more expensive it is. The price and value also vary, but the big titles like The Sandbox, Decentraland, and more have land prices up at high prices. The other thing is that these games sell land at a scarce amount. There's no point in selling a lot of lands because the value becomes lower. Number 2. What can you do with NFT land? The question you might be wondering now is, I bought land, now what? Land can be used in different ways, but again, it depends on the game that you're playing. Don't worry, since the concept is pretty much the same for a lot of these games. Whether you're playing The Sandbox, Crypto Voxels, Decentraland, and more, the concept is primarily the same. There are numerous things that you can do with land, and one of them is to sell them. That's right, it is still an NFT, so reselling NFT is allowed. When the demand is high, you can sell the land you bought for a higher price if there are people willing to pay for it. The reason you would want to get land is to generate income, and if you sell it, you can generate great income. Then again, why sell it when you can also rent it out? There are some owners that rent out their land to people that are willing to do so. Landowners can also create some games and other things that can entertain people who stop by their land, thus generating income as well. If you ever get land, it's all about making money for yourself so that you can get a return on your investment. Number 3. Popular brands and names on land. This deserves a mention because popular brands, companies, investors, and even celebrities have bought a piece of NFT land. Their reason is the same as everyone, which is to make money. A good example is Walmart buying their own NFT land. Their purpose is to make a digital store that allows people to buy some goods on their NFT store using cryptocurrency. That's just an example, because a lot of other popular brands are taking a piece of the NFT land market. Who knows, if you happen to own land in one of these games and someone from a big-time company makes you an offer, you can't refuse. Number 4. Preparing your crypto wallets. We'll now start telling you the steps on how you can buy digital land in the Metaverse. Like any NFT game, you need to prepare your crypto wallets because these things can't just be bought with money directly. You'll have to do some exchanges from your money to crypto. It also has to be the right wallet that will support or is connected to the game. This is pretty much the easy part because the games will give you the information up front. Just set up the wallet and be prepared to buy the land that you want. Number 5. Buying the actual land. For the sake of example, let's assume you're going to buy land from Decentraland. You can easily go to the site and see which plots are available for sale. The tricky part is that there might not be a piece of land for sale. Let's just say that there are plots of land for sale. Picking the right plot is an interesting thing that you need to do. Once again, the size of the land can be a factor in the amount of money that you have to pay. Size isn't always important because what you do with the land is the deciding factor. There are people skilled in programming and are creative enough to make their land a bit more interesting. They don't have to buy a large piece of land when they can maximize their profits with smaller plots. Plus, you have to consider that some of these lands are scaled or designed differently due to some of the games being in 3D. Buying land is as easy as just hitting the Add to Cart button on any website. Just make sure that it is the one you want since there won't be refunds in these games. Number 6. Trying out land brokers. Land is scarce, but the opportunists are always there. There are people that have bought plots of land, but they don't really do anything with it. That's where these land brokers come in, who can be found online. They're like real estate agents, but they're just selling land in the Metaverse. The prices may be higher, but if you're really bent on buying one, then these brokers can help you out. Just make sure you're buying from legitimate sources that are outside the responsibilities of the games. Decentraland won't care if you get scammed by someone outside of the game selling land when it turns out that it wasn't even real. Number 7. Buying land in future games. We repeatedly said that buying land in NFT games is hard because more and more people are getting into it. That's where you can prepare yourself for future NFT games. Buying land in games like Decentraland and others is tricky because it's more expensive and limited. However, the virtual real estate market in the Metaverse is going to be expanding. More and more games are going to be made in the future, and that's where you can decide to buy land ahead of time. Newer games will have cheaper land to buy. Back then, those games that we mentioned sold plots of land for less than $100. Nowadays, land can cost over $1,000 or even more. Buying land from new games for cheaper prices can be a good idea and investment as well. Speaking of those games that we've stated, if you're still willing to buy plots of land, always stay updated with their social media accounts. They might drop schedules for land for sale, and you can get your piece when the time comes. Number 8. Stay cautious and do research. Let me be clear here, we here at the Game Mag are just humble gamers. We are not financial experts, but it is always a good idea to do your own research, not to listen to some bodiless head on the internet. While NFT Land is very high right now, it may or may not be a fruitful return in the long run. You have a ton of factors to consider, like the type and value of the game. The land may be cheap, but if the game doesn't get the following or the boost that it needs, you may lose money. It could also be a case where you might get your money back slower than usual. Just because it is hot right now doesn't mean that you'll make your money back right away. Also, be cautious and try to avoid scams and potential problems with your digital land. Always check the rules and regulations stated as to what you can do and not do with the land that you have. Do the research and bide your time if needed, and you might even be able to buy more land. Are you convinced about buying land when it comes to the Metaverse? If you are, we hope that you do your own research well and make sure that you get the best out of it. For more topics like this, hit the like button and subscribe so you'll be notified of more of our content to come.